African Rugby Union yesterday confirmed that coach Heyneke Meyer would not seek a renewal on his contract, despite earlier saying that he would love to continue in the job. His contract was unlikely to be renewed, as according to reports, a number of the country's provinces had turned against him. During his tenure, the Springboks recorded a 66.7% win record in tests and scored 143 test tries, second only to New Zealand in that time. To speak more about one of the most tumultuous tenures of a Springbok coach is a former player and analyst, Thando Manana. Good morning and welcome to Morning Live.
Morning, Gosazana. How are you?
I'm good.
Yes, good.
Okay. What was your reaction to yesterday's announcement?
I was not surprised, to be quite honest. I think people have got to understand whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. And I think Heyneke Meyer's departure, for me was sort of a swan song in a sense that it gives now an opportunity to the man that we've been speaking about and the man that we've been sort of talking about throughout, and that's Alistair Coetzee. I mean, for me, he's a right candidate. He fits and also ticks all the boxes that SARU, in terms of their strategic transformation plan, has. He fits it quite comfortably as well. I think his downfall, he lived and he died by his decisions, I think, Heyneke Meyer. And, with 67, you spoke about that percentage. It means nothing if there are no trophies in the cabinets. And that's been his problem. Throughout his 4 years, nothing was really put down in Cape Town in the SARU head offices.
Do you think then that the media and South Africans in general were maybe a little bit harsh on Meyer? No,
they weren't. They were very protective of Meyer. And I think also what Meyer was good at, he was able to bring them closer to him. And up until the wheels fell off, I think what is so surprising is, once we mention, a coach of color that's about to come in or that's favored to come in, then you start getting negative publicity where people are saying transformation equals to racism. And I said that is wrong. And very much so that, he says himself that he was more on the winning than transforming the side. Then why do you take on the Springbok job? Because we've got to remember that, in our democracy, our little democracy, there was unity talks whereby we amalgamated all three unions at the time, whether it was African, colors and whites, into one, meaning that we've got to go on the same ship and move in the same direction. And that is to achieve a South Africa where everyone gets full opportunities and equal opportunities.
Okay, so we know that transformation is going to be an absolute key and cornerstone, but this is something that we've been saying of a Springbok coach and somebody taking over the Springbok job for a number of years now.
Yeah, that is why it's not easy for you to bring an international coach. I know people are obviously the haters of Alistair Coetzee are all of a sudden saying that we need an international coach to come in, but he won't understand the demographics of this country. He will come here because he wants to do his job and he's got a mandate to keep on winning and bring trophies whenever they're on the table. So you've got to bring someone who understands the simple culture. And Alistair Coetzee was able to amalgamate African, colors and white into one and also select, without fear of prejudice, a team that in fact had the most players of color, and that's a stormer side for his whole tenure in the Western Province Union.
And this is why I want to ask this specific question, because I've heard this argument that we cannot bring an international coach because of the fact that they won't understand the transformation directives. But who's to say that an international coach won't naturally choose our players of color because they are just that good?
I think he should come in. If we do select to bring in an international coach, you've got to bring him on an advisory level, like in 2007, Jake White did with Eddie Jones, where he brought him as an analyst, or someone who comes in with a tactical, mind into the game and also able to just, bring us to what is happening currently in terms of international play that we haven't seen from the Springboks. I think also the downfall of Heyneke Meyer has been the way he's coached as well, the Springbok, where we haven't been able to see in South Africa move to the second and third gear, that is either plan B or plan C. So bringing an international guy, it's got to be someone who's really a very good student of the game, who understands the nitty-gritties of playing that top notch at a certain level. But then have Alistair Coetzee. He's been an assistant coach when we won in 2007. But then also I would love to see a young coach like a Johan Ackerman. He's not ready to coach the Springboks. However, he's good enough to come into the setup and start learning on how to become and also coach at the highest level.
Alistair Coetzee, out and out, is the front runner to take over the position. What about, however, the other two names that have also been bandied about, and that's John Mitchell and John Plumtree?
Look, both of them, I think John Mitchell maybe fits the criteria in a sense that he's based in South Africa. He's about in Pietermaritzburg. Whether, his favourites with the South African Rugby Union ex-com members, it's another thing. I think maybe the interviews will do him well to just satisfy that he's been to an interview of a Springbok job. But I think outright, I think the SAR, when they convene next week on the 11th of December, would certainly have someone in mind, but then will also consider the names that you've brought down to the fore. John Plumtree at this moment, he won with the Highlanders Super 15 last year. I don't see him coming back to South Africa. He wants to stay with the Highlanders, maybe seeing an opportunity once Steve Hansen leaves New Zealand that he could also be roped in the New Zealand structures.
All right. Thank you very much. Do you believe if Alistair takes over, he'll get transformation correct?
He's always had it correct, Valen. I think he's the right candidate. You can't question him. This is a former guy that has captained SARU in the apartheid days, and in fact, he's the last captain to captain before unity talks, and also he's the first guy to coach a provincial side. He's made so many records, and also he's done so well. He's coached SA under 23, he's coached the SAA. So I think he ticks everything, and he's got all the credentials.
Lovely stuff. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to you.
Former player and rugby analyst, just chatting to us there about who may next take over the hot seat of being the Springbok coach. Just an update on what's happening on the cricket